Hello plant friends, hope you guys are all staying happy and healthy out there, staying safe with your loved ones. So in this episode we are going to talk about cheap plant products that I use, I like, I recommend, and has, I guess, made my planting life a lot easier. They also make good presents or stocking stuffers or, you know, gifts. Alright, let's just get to it. Alright, so the first thing I recommend are these Velcro-y plant ties. So they come in something like this, and then you sort of, take a length you like, snip it, and then they do that. There is a side that has, this little, like some fuzz. These are the sides that's supposed to be, against your plants. And it's just a very gentle way to, tie your plants or attach your plants to something. Your plants will not have, like, I guess the equivalent of like a pressure ulcer or a sore, right? The alternative that some people use, and I've definitely used in the past, and I also continue to use for some applications, are these twist ties. There's like a thin metal wire inside these, and it's covered with a plastic covering. And the problem with these is that I feel that if your plants are too heavy, or let's say that they're growing and you have these really tight against your plant, and the trunk or the stem expands, these can sort of like dig into your plants. Once you twist, these are more stable, right? They're more rigid, so they can hold heavier items or heavier plant parts. But the issue is that when it's too heavy, and generally you don't know if it's too heavy or not, these over time do sort of dig into your plants. So these are definitely, very, very safe. And also, they're green. When you have these against, your plant foliage, it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb, right? Like it blends in pretty well. But yeah, I really recommend ties. They make plant organization and trying to shape your plants or your vines much easier. So that's my first recommendation. I prefer this, but this also has its uses. My second recommendation are watering canisters, plastic watering canisters. And by now you guys are like, well, duh, we all water our plants. What else do you think we use? I think my recommendation for this one is that I recommend you should get 2 different sizes. That's my recommendation. I think these are, cheap enough that you can get a larger capacity one and then a smaller capacity one. The reason for this is that especially if you guys have a lot of plants, right, you sort of want a larger capacity one to like fill up all at once and then just go right, water your plants, so you don't have to go back to the sink or the faucet or the wherever, the hose, wherever you're getting your water, to refill it as often. However, the problem with these is that, like, if you have lots of plants on a shelf, like either a high shelf or like a deep shelf, usually the sprout for these larger containers makes it very difficult to like really like go into the the plants that are in the nooks and crannies of your plant setup. So for these big guys, I like to use these for just rapidly, quickly watering the plants that are easily accessible. And then I use this one, smaller container, and the smaller containers usually have a much longer sprout, and so this one it allows me to do more nooks and crannies. I think if I was buying another container again, I would probably have I would pick a even longer sprout. I think this part is the sprout, right? So I would pick an even longer sprout so that it makes going into the nooks and crannies a lot easier. Also, when I'm climbing, to water the plants that are high up, this also makes it a lot easier because this is not as heavy as the container that holds a lot more water. So yeah, that's my recommendation. Again, they're really cheap, and I think having 2 makes it can really speed up your watering routine and make it more efficient, so you can spend time doing other stuff that's not watering. Okay, so my last recommendation are these plastic catch trays, right? A lot of you guys have asked about, what is this? What is the blue bowl that I have under my terracotta plants or pots? Oh, let me show you. So a lot of you guys have seen sort of this setup for me. I have my plants in terracotta, and then I have this, water catch bowl. So what I do is that I water, right, and then the water just like drips and it gets caught in this bowl. And what happens is that probably like, half a day to a day later, I find that the water in here is actually empty. And the reason for that is that the terracotta basically absorbs that water and sort of whisks it away. Also, if my soil composition or whatever the plant is in, if it's a lot of sphagnum moss, what happens is that the moss, the drier areas of the moss sort of absorbs that water, right? So that water that you put in gets distributed amongst the sphagnum moss. And so I find that, the having some extra water here works for me. And it allows me to prolong my water frequency to every 2 weeks. So I think without these little plastic trays or bowls or whatever, then I have to water a little bit more frequently. It's very easy to find catch trays or bowls. I found these at Target. So if you're in the US, go to your Target. These are not officially sold as catch trays. These are actually sold as toddler feeding plates and bowls. So these are actually in the, I guess, like plates and bowls area of the store. So the good thing about these is that, they're pretty, right? They're pretty hardy, very easy to wash, very easy to clean. And they're actually really cheap. These are, I think this one's like 40 or 50 cents US, and they fit my, as you saw, they fit my 6-inch terracotta pot really, really well. They come in a lot of different colors, and I think that's a good way to add color to your setup, match your decor, make your plants stand out, or, just have some fun if you want to have fun. That's it, guys. So those are my 3 product recommendations. Again, super affordable. I use them, definitely recommend them. They make my life a lot easier. Hopefully they work for you, or you got some creative ideas out of this. Oh, if you like the shirt that I'm wearing, I have it on it's like down there somewhere on my Amazon store. And yeah, till next time, happy holidays.